Hey Nora, I am so grateful that you're giving me some of your time. I know you're a busy lady, but I wanted to just pick your brain a little bit. And I do the Young Living Opportunity. I'm really enjoying it, and I just wanted to find out from you, is the Young Living Opportunity something you've participated in? And if you have, what made you say yes?
Okay, so when you say Young Living Opportunity, does that mean like pursuing the business?
Correct.
Okay, okay, so the question, so for me, am I pursuing it? Um, yes and no. I mean, at this point, I am a silver, and I've been a silver since 2016, and I've been able to
Woohoo!
hold it. Yeah, yeah, which is great. Um, I'd say the opportunity is really, it's not for everybody, I would say. Okay, and I have a lot of experience behind me at this point,
Hmm.
because before, when I first started, I thought it was for everybody. Well, anybody could do this. It was so easy for me to hit silver. And then I had one gal under me who hit silver. She had to work hard, but she hit it. And then I had other people. I've had other people that have just, they've tried, but they haven't gotten to where they want to be. And it's not because they haven't really tried. So it's kind of like, I want to explore this with you because I think it's really beneficial. It's a beneficial conversation for you
Hmm.
and anyone else that's curious, for sure. Um, and I'd have to say I've done a lot of mentoring with people and thought that, oh, this person will do really well. I really thought I would have done way better by now, but I also have really watched the ebbs and flows of it, and I do think there's been certain times when it's been better than others to get into it. But I will say, for right now, like if somebody was in the market to pursue this, that I almost think that hosting just Young Living parties, oil parties, is probably not going to really work that well at this point, because there's so much of that, so much oversaturation of that
Hmm.
going on. And when I reflect back to when I did well, because I hit silver when I decided to go for it, I did it in 3 months.
Hmm.
And I had been doing Young Living, but I didn't know what I was doing. I got some mentoring from our Royal Crown Diamond, G. Murray Hepworth, and then I was just like, okay, I get it, and then I went for it. But what was going on, and what's really important for, I think, people to hear, is that I was pursuing me. I was pursuing a transformation in myself, and I was doing what I loved, which I'm an energy healer. I'm a holy fire Reiki teacher. I'm a pendulum artist. I do scientific hand analysis, and now I do human design. But what I was doing is I was uh, teaching classes, and and my first love was healing, and oils just went beautifully with it, beautifully.
Hmm.
And so for me, it was like, I really didn't know that pursuing Young Living would really work, but I was very passionate about it. And so what I did is I blended it in with what I was already doing. Okay, and I really think, like, when I look back to that, that's really my I would say that would be my juice right now, is for everybody, is just to say to you, whatever you love doing, do it, and then find a way to bring Young Living into it, and then let people approach you, rather than, and live the lifestyle. Definitely live the lifestyle, because you're vibrating that. And I always smell like oils, and I always have a bag of oils with me. And if people come to visit me, I'm always diffusing things like that. And when I'm teaching or seeing clients, they're getting the oil treatment. So I think it's important that, when you're around people, they know you're doing oils, but you don't necessarily have to say you're doing it. You just show and be a role model for what that lifestyle is like. And so what's happened since 2016 is now I'm making bracelets, and so I'm making lava bracelets, which it's duh, you know, it goes great with the essential oils, and then just adding, you know, just a little of my flair to how I sell those. And it's yet another side hustle, I guess you'd say, that I love. And I've blended the oils, and I also enjoy cooking a lot too. I always have my whole entire life. So whenever anyone comes over to eat or have anything to drink in my house, there's an oil involved, definitely. So I'd say right now it is an opportunity, but it's really kind of like, let your life purpose lead you, you know, whatever that includes.
Yeah.
And then have that Young Living beautifully come in and just highlight what you're doing.
I 100% agree with you. I do also think that the home parties are oversaturated because it seems like in the last few years, everybody and their mother is like asking people to do like host parties for them. And so it's like I've had to look at that too, and I'm like, maybe I'm going to try a different route. And what I've done is exactly what you've talked about. And a Royal Crown Diamond, Deborah Rayburn, she talked about this too, and she's been doing this the whole way through. Is she's added oils into her life, so no matter what she did, there was an essential oil involved, just like what you're saying, Nora. And
Yeah.
she's gotten to where she is today. And you are, I mean, we can't discount, you're making decent income. I mean, people might not know what a silver is. Silver is making a good, decent income. And so I'm really proud of you, even if you never went further.
Thank
I
you.
mean, that's like really good money. According to the Income Disclosure Guide, it's roughly around $2,000 a month. I mean, that's decent money. And
Mm-hmm.
I always preach to people, multiple streams of income. Don't just settle for one, especially with this year, what we've seen, where people have gone to bed with a job and then they wake up without a job. And so if that's the only income you have, you really panic at that point, where
Mm-hmm.
you're very diverse. You're doing all the healing, then you're doing the oils, and then you're doing the jewelry. And I think that's brilliant. And so I love what you said, because there was another lady in the Young Living community who said exactly what you said in a different way. She said, find your bat signal, find something maybe that you've overcome, and you're like an
Mm-hmm.
expert in that, something like maybe a hardship, or for me it was my infertility issues, and
Mm-hmm.
how oils have helped me conceive twice. um
Wonderful.
yeah, and so I'm
Yeah, that's powerful.
my bat signal, or things that are going on in my life, and using oils in that. What drew you originally to saying, yes, let me check this out? What was that?
Oh, that's good question. I'd have to say I really wasn't. I was doing oils, but I didn't understand MLM, and I was really intimidated by it because I didn't even really. I kept calling customer service. And I'm like, they got to be sick of me, because my upline, you know, we joke about it, but I was like orphaned because she was orphaned, and so we didn't know what we were doing, and then so there came a point where I wanted to make a move to Tucson, and because all my three children moved there. I have three adult sons, and so I'm like, gosh, how am I gonna, how am I gonna figure this out? How am I gonna have enough income? You know what? And then sure enough, I get a call out of the blue. It was very random, and from Karen Harrison, my upline, where Jean Marie wanted to mentor her in person. She was going to fly from Colorado to Kansas City, and Karen called me, and I originally said no. And then my husband went and got a map. He says, you know what? Because I told him about it. He goes, you know what? It's only a 5.5 hour drive. He goes, I'll even pay for your gas. And I just thought, who are you? He never wants me to like go on trips. And I thought, well, that was weird. So, so I said yes because of that. Otherwise, it was going to be a no. And so when I got the mentoring, I didn't know that there was an income opportunity. I didn't know anything about rankings or anything. And so Jean Marie came and spent, maybe 5 or 6 hours with me and kind of opened that door. And then there was another event that I attended in Little Rock right around that time. It was, I can't remember what they do it every year, and I can't remember what it's called right now, but I went to that event all by myself. and felt like, what am I even doing here? Because it's like these like seem like a bunch of crazy ladies, right? You know how it is when you're at a Young Living
Crazy
event.
little
It's
ladies.
like, I'm just like, what is this? And then what happened at that event was Brittany Brittany LeMay, I think her name is. She taught us how to use the virtual office. And all I knew how to do was order. And she showed us the resources in the virtual office. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can teach a class and there's a script with the PowerPoints. So it all just came together, and I just thought, well, I can do this. And so I did it, which was really a big deal for me because I was not brought up with a sales background or anything like that. But the first party that I had was very successful, and people were very moved by the just the presentation. And this was back when you could say,
A lot of things.
oh, it's the seed to seal process was like, wow, people are like never heard of that before.
Uh-huh.
So that was really, that's back when that spoke volumes to people. Now you have a lot of different MLMs saying that. So that's really where it sparked. I'm like, oh, I had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to get a few little skills. I was really scared. I really was, but it was just a fact of me doing it. And then it was like, from there, it was 3 months later, I was a silver.
It's so cool. And don't you
Mhm.
feel like you've grown as a person over this journey?
Yes, and it's never ending because I think now more than ever with the situation in our country, we're seeing now that people are more open to alternatives. They're actually more open to oils. They really are. It's just they're not so open to going to parties, but they are open to oil. So I find that I've had to just really watch the waves of what's going on. But now it's just like I'm having it like my a couple of my downline friends, we're just talking about, well, how do you do this business now? And I have told them, I said, it's all equal to how much spiritual growth you're willing to do. And if you're willing to do the spiritual growth by however that looks, like sometimes that can just be like, oh, people get sick of me because I reach out to them and I'm selling, I'm sharing. I don't want to say selling, but sharing. And they just like, oh, she's just whatever, and then they get annoyed. Well, I'm like, well, I've totally overcome that.
Mhm.
So now I'm just letting them know about a good thing. And then a lot of times they'll come back to me when the time is right.
That's exactly
Like,
it. Mhm.
yeah, just like had I not done this for you 5 years ago, you wouldn't have known that I'm that oily chick and I'm the one who asks when you're ready. And so it's important to be that person to just say, hey, they post something and then I'll inbox them or whatever, because it seems like most conversations come down to I don't want to say them not on Facebook, but in person, most conversations come down to what are your ailments, what are you struggling with, and just being really willing to share at a level which I would have never done before. So spiritually and I feel it's like my duty now, whereas before when I started, I'm like, well, I don't want to feel, what if they feel like I'm selling them this and that? Now I feel like it's more like my spiritual growth has shown me that, oh, it's really more of my duty to inform about these things.
And then
So that's been a big one.
say no, no big deal. You don't get hurt feelings, but like you said, a lot of times those no's end up coming around. I know that's been my
Yeah,
experience.
yeah.
And as you talk about, the waves and things changing with how we present, to me, I've been most successful one-on-one with people. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's as simple as, hey, how are you doing? What's going on in your life? Just reaching out to people and just being a good friend. And then as you're being a good friend, a lot of times like needs come up, in the conversation. And then that's my opportunity, like you said, to say like,
Hmm.
hey, I have this thing. Here it is. If you like it, great. If not, that's fine. We can still be friends. And
Yeah.
it was so rewarding. Just this week, I had a friend come up to me, come to my house, and place an order with me because she's going through some serious health issues. Not that I think we're going to cure everything, but you get extra tools in the toolbox to help your body do what it does best, and that's to heal itself. And it feels so rewarding to be that friend that everyone goes to and be like, I need this. I'm going through this thing. Can you help me? And and then I find a way I can pray for them too on top of it.
Sure.
So one of the biggest draws to me on has been the help thing, and then it's the personal connections I've been making, friends I would never have made otherwise. Because when I first started, people were doing, like, it wasn't as party filled as it is now, and so I was doing classes, and I would meet who I have friends with now at those classes. And had I never said yes and done the scary things like you mentioned, I wouldn't have the relationships I have today. And then going to the Young Living events, and then people, I hope that's been your experience too. People have been just really friendly and kind, and then you
Oh,
make
yeah.
friendships. Has that been your experience as well?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Uh, Young Living oily ladies they are so fun, and they are, they're kind of like high on life, if you've noticed like the difference, when they're really into it, they just have an effervescence around them. And I like that. I like being in that energy. It's really good for me. It's really healthy. And it's really kind of like, as far as friendships, it's like they have to have that component. If they're not oily, it's like, I don't know if I can do this, so and eventually, hopefully, all of my friends are oily now because I've shared with all of them. So that's how they all are. But yeah, I mean, it's like when I went to my events, like that first one I was telling you about, I'm just like, what is this? Why are they all happy and crazy and all of that? And what had happened there was I actually experienced a group high with oils, which was really pretty funny. I'm like, because I was wondering about it. I'm like, what's these girls drink champagne or something here? And so Brittany handed out, she opened 3 bottles of Stress Away and just was handing it around to everybody to put it on in the conference room. And I put it on, and then I got all giddy and high too. It was really pretty funny. And so, and after that, rather than I wasn't really judging it, but I just was curious about it. But then I'm like, yeah. And then when I went to my first Young Living event after that, I'm like, oh yeah, this is that energy that I saw in Little Rock at Peabody Hotel. And so I'm like, I really love being in this. And you can feel it as soon as you hit the door at a Young Living event, that it's just like that. There's just a rush. People are happy. They're vibrant. They've got, a lot of them have overcome themselves, like you have to do. You overcome your shyness. You overcome your, yourself, and so you're just happy because you're around a lot of people that have done that and that continue to do that. Because I have to continue to do that. I have to, hey, if I'm not learning, then I'm not having much fun. So.
No, totally. So I've really enjoyed this growth that I've done. And if it wasn't for Young Living, I would never have met you. I would never have met some of your downline. I feel like we've become, like, you guys kind of adopted me as family. And
Great.
I've never felt more welcome in my life. And then when I saw you in Tucson at my show, it was so cool to meet you in
Yeah.
person.
Well, I mean, and there was that energy that we both had.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know each other, and then it's like, hey, you do Young Living? And you're like, yeah, it's just like, it's that thing, right?
Yeah.
We had that in common right away without ever meeting each other. And here we are now. I mean, that was probably 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Maybe even sooner.
Yeah.
Maybe at least minimum 3.
Yeah. Yeah, minimum. Yeah. And so I'm just like, so there's that energy, it's just like, it's really, it's real and it's fun, and you want to be in that. And even if you're not, like, if one is not doing as well as they want to be in the business, which I hope people get over that. I don't like people to carry that around with them, just,
Right.
yeah. It's just like, just have fun with the oils. You're in with really cool people. When you're with oily people, you're with people that are engaged with life. They care. They're they're just um, they're doing things that in my opinion, just at a higher level. Most things, not just the oils, but just lots of other things. You know, they're doing things from scratch. They're doing things in a more natural way, and they're just it's that Young Living thing.
I noticed for myself when I've done one healthy thing, and my biggest move I made this way was starting Young Living. And when I started Young Living, then I started wanting to do other healthy things. And I've learned how to do a lot of cheap, easy peasy DIYs that has saved me
Hmm.
a lot of money. I've been
Good.
um, house cleaning, all kinds of stuff now. And because of my income with Young Living, all my wellness products are absolutely free. All my
Hmm.
cleaning products are absolutely free. So
Hmm.
what that's done is it's taken those vitamins that I would buy or the cleaning supplies from the grocery store, and now I've just increased my grocery bill. So if the only thing you ever achieve in Young Living is Star or Senior Star, you've just
Hmm.
increased your grocery bill. And that's a big deal because now you're able to buy actual food, more food, instead
Yes.
of what ends up being your bill is mostly cleaning products and vitamins. Now you actually
Yes.
got to fill that whole capacity with meals. So just that alone, you've grown. And then all your wellness products are free to you. So you're not
Yeah.
coming out of the
It's
pocket.
really amazing.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
so it's just a matter of, I love what Nora said. I got to have her back on because I want to talk to her a little bit more. But just to wrap it up, it's about bringing it into what you're doing now. You don't have
Hmm.
to go out and do all the classes. I don't do too a
Mm-mm.
lot of classes anymore. You fit what's in your lifestyle. You're gonna meet a lot of cool people, and just by sharing, it's not about selling. It's about meeting a need that you with people you care about. You'll make great
Hmm.
friends and you're going to grow as a person. I couldn't thank you enough for being
Sure.
a part of this. And I got to have you back on. So make sure I'm going to connect with you just shortly. And I'm going to talk to you some more and explore your brain. Okay.
Okay. Wonderful.